Everything you've ever heard about the Emerald Tablets is either incomplete or intentionally distorted. These aren't just ancient myths or cryptic spiritual writings. They're a blueprint, a manual designed to unlock powers that have been hidden from the public for centuries. Dismissed as legend by academics, diluted by New Age circles, and buried by institutions that profit from your ignorance, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth hold knowledge that could shatter the illusion of limitation forever. Thoth, often portrayed as an Egyptian god of wisdom, was no ordinary deity. According to the tablets themselves, Thoth was a master of cosmic laws, a being of immense knowledge from a civilization that predates even the earliest recorded empires. Many connect him to Atlantis, a lost society more advanced than anything we've seen since. The implications are staggering. These tablets weren't written for priests or poets. They were encoded for those ready to awaken their true potential. So why has this information been kept from you? Because knowledge is power, and power in the hands of the masses threatens the control of the few. If you understood the true nature of your mind, that it shapes energy, and that energy shapes matter, you would no longer be governable. Religions turned these teachings into parables. Science labeled them pseudoscience. Secret societies hid them in plain sight, encrypting the truths into rituals, symbols, and metaphors. And yet, their core message remains intact. Consciousness is the architect of reality. Time is an illusion. Death is a transition, not an end. The material world isn't solid. It's vibration, frequency, and energy, all governed by specific laws, just like the laws of physics. But unlike those taught in school, these laws aren't about controlling the external. They're about mastering the internal, and by extension, everything outside of you. When you begin to decode the tablets, a different picture of the universe comes into focus. You realize that what you've been taught about your limitations, your role in the world, your relationship with reality itself, is a lie. And once you see that lie, you can't unsee it. The system we live in is built to keep you distracted, dependent, and disempowered. The Emerald Tablets are a wake-up call, not to spirituality as you've been sold it, but to reality as it truly is. This is not about belief, it's about law. And the first law is this: all is mind. Everything begins with thought. Everything. Part 2. Reality is not what you think it is. The Emerald Tablets go far beyond what mainstream interpretations suggest. Their wisdom is not abstract. It's direct, practical, mechanical. These teachings tell you how reality is built, how it functions, and how to engage with it consciously. You may have heard the phrase, "As above, so below, as within, so without." It's not poetic, it's physics. What exists on a cosmic scale also exists within you. Your internal world is a fractal of the universe. Change one, and you change the other. Your thoughts are not contained within your head. They broadcast, they influence energy, they shape outcomes. Thoth writes that all motion, from the stars in the sky to the atoms in your cells, is governed by universal law. If everything follows structure, nothing is random, which means everything can be influenced. The moment you understand this, you move from being a victim of circumstance to a conscious force in the universe. These tablets outline 7 core laws. Mentalism, all is mind. Correspondence, as within, so without. Vibration, nothing rests, everything moves. Polarity, everything is dual. Rhythm, everything flows. Cause and effect, nothing happens by chance. Gender, all things contain masculine and feminine forces. These are not spiritual ideas, they're operational principles, and they can be used either to liberate or to control. For centuries, elite institutions and secret societies have used them to engineer reality. Not just personal manifestation, but mass manipulation, political chaos, economic control, social division, all built on laws hidden within these ancient writings. But if these principles work on a large scale, they also work on a personal scale. If the collective mind can be directed to create conflict, your own mind can be trained to create peace, power, purpose. The real secret is this: whatever you experience in life is not just happening to you, it's responding to you, your energy, your frequency, your mental state. And when you learn to shift those deliberately, when you move from fear to intention, from reaction to direction, you're no longer just living, you're creating. You're engineering your reality with the same tools that the elite have hoarded for millennia. The only difference now is, it's your turn. The Emerald Tablets are not just cryptic writings from an ancient world. They are a blueprint for understanding the fundamental structure of reality. But not in the way modern spirituality has watered them down. You've been told they're about enlightenment, wisdom, maybe even morality. That's only a fragment of the truth. Because what these texts actually hold is far more radical. They describe how reality is constructed, how energy moves, how consciousness shapes matter. And if you understand this, you no longer simply live within reality. You begin to influence it. The phrase, "as above, so below, as within, so without," has been quoted endlessly. But few stop to ask what it really means. It's not just poetic balance, it's a literal code, a key to the fabric of existence. What exists on the macrocosmic level also exists within you. Your mind, your energy, your thoughts, they extend outward, creating the shape of your life. This is not just spiritual idealism, it's physics, it's mechanics, it's how the universe works. Everything is vibration, everything moves, everything has frequency. And the Emerald Tablets don't just hint at this, they declare it. All things in all universes move according to law, Thoth writes. And he wasn't speaking metaphorically. He meant that the same laws that shape galaxies also shape your mind. So ask yourself, if your thoughts hold frequency, if your emotions ripple through reality like sound through air, then what happens when you master those vibrations? You don't just change your mindset, you alter your world. The elites who've studied this knowledge for centuries know that. They've built systems around it. Education, media, religion, they all distract you from the truth. They want you chasing results while ignoring the source. Because if you looked inward, you might realize the terrifying truth. You were never meant to be a follower. You were built to be a creator. The tablets describe not only mentalism and vibration, but the actual laws that govern reality. Polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender, mentalism. These aren't ideas. They're principles behind manifestation, energy movement, and the creation of form from the formless. And here's where the illusion breaks. The same systems that call this knowledge myth are the ones that use it behind closed doors. They don't want you to see it as a map. They want you to see it as a riddle. Why? Because if you truly applied the Emerald Tablets, you wouldn't follow the system. You would rewrite it. These teachings speak of alchemical transmutation, not of metals, but of the self. How to shift fear into clarity, anger into momentum, confusion into power. It's energy work, it's consciousness engineering, and it's not theoretical. Modern quantum science has only now begun to catch up. The observer effect proves it. Consciousness does influence matter. But Thoth wrote about it thousands of years ago, and yet It's not taught. It's not shared. Because those who hold the keys to this knowledge don't want you unlocking your own cage. They want you passive, obedient, predictable. But something is shifting. More people are waking up. More are seeing the code behind the curtain. And if you're still listening, that means you feel it too. The Emerald Tablets weren't meant to be worshipped. They were meant to be used. And in the next part, we'll uncover how this knowledge has been used against the masses, and how you can flip that script. The Emerald Tablets were never just forgotten. They were buried, deliberately, not because the knowledge was unimportant, but because it was too important. Because when used properly, it gives you the one thing every system of control fears most: sovereignty. But here's the hard truth. While you were told it was just myth, while society mocked ancient wisdom and worshipped scientific materialism, others were using these teachings against you. Secret societies, high-level religious institutions, global financial architects. Yes, the same groups that publicly deny the power of these principles have been using them in private for centuries. Let's look deeper. The Tablets' law of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has its opposite. The elites didn't ignore this. They weaponized it. Turn on the news. What do you see? Division, left versus right, us versus them. Race, class, gender, lines drawn, tribes split, people polarized. Why? Because if you're bouncing between extremes, between fear and rage, pride and shame, you'll never rise above. You'll never transcend duality. You'll be stuck in it, controlled by it. It's not random, it's designed. Then there's the law of rhythm. The tablets say, everything flows out and in, everything has its tides. The elite understand this better than anyone. The stock market, the media cycle, wars and peace, boom and bust. They ride the waves ahead of you while you're left reacting in chaos. Because if they control the rhythm, they control you. And let's not forget cause and effect. This one's misunderstood. People think it's just karma, but in reality, it's about control of narrative. If you control the cause, the belief, the story, the input, you can manufacture any effect you want. This is why they fight to control the education system, the media, religion, culture. Because once you program the mind, you don't need to control the person. They'll control themselves. Now ask yourself, how is this knowledge still called esoteric? Why is it not in schools? Why is it not in public discourse? Because it was never meant for everyone. It was hoarded, locked away. But here's the twist. The Emerald Tablets were not meant to serve control. They were meant to break it, to awaken those who dared to look deeper. The elite read these laws and asked, how do we use this to rule? But the real question, the one you must now ask, is, how do I use this to become free? Because you can. These principles don't belong to any religion. They're not tied to culture, race, or status. They are universal, and they respond to whoever applies them, with focus, with clarity, and with intention. And once you apply them, you'll start to notice it. Coincidences, synchronicities, patterns you've never seen before, like the universe is speaking to you in code, because it is. You'll feel the shifts in your thoughts, in your energy, in the way the world reacts to you, because the illusion begins to break. And for the first time, you'll realize you were never meant to be a pawn. You were always meant to be a player. You've heard the laws, you've seen the illusion. Now the question is no longer, is this real? The question is, what are you going to do with it? Because the Emerald Tablets were never meant to be read like sacred poetry. They were never just myths carved into stone for historians to admire. They were instructions, a manual for mastery, a coded guide to energy, mind, and reality. And the truth? They work, but only when you use them. So let's strip away the mystery. Let's talk application. 1. Mentalism. All is mind. All begins in thought. This is where it all starts. What you focus on expands. Your mind is not a mirror, it's a projector. If your life is filled with chaos, it's because your inner world is in disarray. No ritual, no book, no guru can fix it for you. You must rewrite the program running beneath your surface. Start with this. Every morning ask, what frequency am I choosing today? Is it fear, or is it focus, confusion, or clarity? Because thought isn't passive, it's magnetic. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. 2. Vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves. Emotion is energy in motion, and emotion rules your frequency. Anger, doubt, guilt, anxiety. They're not bad, but they're low vibration currents. If you stay in them, they shape your timeline. Transmutation is key. The moment you feel a heavy emotion, do this. Pause, name it, redirect it. Anger becomes action. Doubt becomes research. Sadness becomes reflection. This isn't spiritual bypass, it's energetic mastery. 3. Correspondence. As within, so without. The external world is just your inner state reflected back to you. So don't try to fix your circumstances first. Fix the pattern that's generating them. Your relationships, mirror. Your finances, mirror. Even the chaos around you, still a mirror. Want to change it? Sit still. Tune in. Ask, what's the root frequency I'm broadcasting? Then shift it. Not by wishing, but by embodying a new state. You don't think your way into a new life. You feel your way into it, and then act accordingly. 4. Cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Here's the one nobody wants to hear. You are either a cause in your life or an effect in someone else's. The elite know this. They create causes, media, markets, fear cycles that generate your response. But you must learn to act from intention, not reaction. Every day, ask, what am I choosing to initiate today? What ripple am I sending out? This shifts you from a follower of reality to a designer of it. 5. Polarity. Everything has its opposite. This is the secret to rapid emotional alchemy. Depression versus joy, fear versus excitement, chaos versus order. These are not different energies. They are ends of the same scale. So when you're in a state you don't like, don't fight it. Shift the degree. Anger, slide it into power. Fear, slide it into alert awareness. Confusion, slide it toward curiosity. Polarity means you're never stuck unless you believe you are. 6. Rhythm. Everything moves in cycles. This is where most spiritual seekers fail. They expect constant peace, constant alignment, constant success. But life flows in waves. Night follows day. Inhale follows exhale. If you understand that, you stop resisting the lows. You stop clinging to the highs. You ride the wave. You master the rhythm. You don't fight the flow. You become it. 7. Gender. Creation needs balance. Masculine is direction. Feminine is reception. Too much masculine and you're burnt out. Too much feminine and you're ungrounded. You must be both. clear in vision, open to receive, structured but flowing. The best creators aren't one or the other. They are whole. Now hear this. The world you're living in is not broken. It is reflecting the minds of people who don't know they're creating it. But once you know, once you see it, once you stop playing by the rules of a system designed to disempower you, everything changes. You wake up. You stop giving your attention to distractions. You stop feeding your energy into conflict, entertainment, and fear. You unplug from the noise. You plug into you, and you begin, slowly, quietly, powerfully, to bend reality around your inner frequency. This is what they never wanted you to know. This is why the tablets were hidden. This is why those who rule do it in silence, using laws you were never taught. But now you know. And once you know, the only choice left is, will you use it? If this message struck a chord, comment below. I no longer ask for permission. Like, subscribe, and keep walking the path of the awakened. Emerald Tablets. Hermetic wisdom, #vibration, is reality, #spiritual sovereignty. As within, so without.